Welcome to my channel. Today is a very special day. It's the day before I have my second surgery. It's kind of a catheter ablation, but in a different category of catheter ablation. I have had an irregular heartbeat for about 10 years now, 8 years now, ever since I had a hysterectomy. And I was under the impression that these were panic attacks, and they were absolutely wrongly diagnosed, ignored, and a manifestation of medical prejudice towards women, intensified by those thoughts of racism towards Black women. And tomorrow is a big day because I've had to really fight for this. I had my first catheter ablation in 2024. And wow, it was several days later that I wound up in the emergency room with symptoms. I had had a big stress, and at the moment of the stress, it hit. They say this isn't an issue of stress, but I went into a full-blown episode where my heart is beating incredibly fast, and I was feeling faint and dizzy, and I was like, oh God. It was just at the moment where my shipping containers had been broken into or were being broken into, and I was witnessing this when I was out on a post-operative recovery walk, because they had said it was possible to, resume normal activities afterwards. That's what the doctor said. But the cardiology nurse that I was living with was like, are you crazy? You shouldn't be doing all that. Which magnifies the difference between doctors and nurses on many levels. A doctor is not there when you're recovering 3 times a day as a nurse is. So theoretically, sure, you can just take up on everything. But in reality, your body has been through a lot. The procedure of a catheter ablation is it's a process that happens within the electrical works of your heart, your arteries. So the artery has like a tiny hole, and the process of the ablation is basically putting a little scar on this tiny microscopic hole, which is why the rhythm of your heart shifts. Like instead of going like this on the EKG, it's doing that. And that's why the spikes come, because it's going below the bar and then going up. So tomorrow, I'm going to have my second procedure. And this second procedure has been an incredibly difficult moment to get to. I have a friend whose wife died of cancer, and she was also a migrant, but white migrant. And her experiences with medicine here were just devastating. She wasn't treated very well. And I helped her husband clear out the house of her belongings and get out of Germany. He'd been through enough and he wanted to go. I had healed after the first catheter ablation, and in February of last year, I went to Barcelona and hung out with him. And at the time, I was contemplating what to do, because just before my arrival, I was having these episodes. I had worn another long EKG machine, which is just, it's a portable EKG. And the portable EKG, you wear it for 3 days. And, so you have the pads here, here, and there, or here, here, and there. And these record your heart activity. My episodes, my tachycardia episodes, are not necessarily every day. They're not necessarily every week, even. But sometimes there can be 10 a day. And there can be a week where every single day there's 10 a day. And you can feel something change when they're happening. So it's a crapshoot if it's going to happen, one of these episodes, during the 3-day time window where I'm wearing this device. And then the next variable is how the data is interpreted by the cardiologist. For example, every 3 months after the catheter ablation, you wear an EKG machine for 3 days and they record your heart rate. I had an episode on that first one, and the cardiologist interpreted it as not anything. In the second one, I had an episode, different cardiologist, different interpretation. With the third one, I had a cardiologist who was ecstatic that, not emphatic, not ecstatic, he wasn't overjoyed. He was emphatic that, yeah, that's an episode, that's a tachycardia, that needs to be corrected. Because I'd been helping this friend of mine who had recently lost his wife and been through a lot of medical racism and prejudice and everything else that medicine can be, and my own just wariness and apprehension, I didn't really feel comfortable with just diving straight in and letting them invade my arteries again. So I spoke to a lot of friends. A friend of mine was starting to have cardiac episodes, and this is a Palestinian woman based in Berlin who is having a terrible time with the illegal occupation of Palestine. And she was, like many people in that community, experiencing severe stresses. Her grandmother's home disappeared, countless family, friends, community members gone, missing, detained, arrested, killed. And she began having heart problems, which other people in the community also were having heart problems. And the first thing that she said to me was, "Oh, you need an actual cardiologist." And this made sense. I was letting the rhythm clinic be my surgeon, my cardiologist, my everything. I went to my GP and I told her, well, I need to go to a cardiologist and can I have a referral? I got the referral. I found a cardiologist. The receptionist was fantastic. They told me how to get the referral paperwork corrected so that I could be seen quickly. I went back and forth 2 more times to the doctor to get everything nailed out correctly. Et voila, I was in to see him. I brought the records from hospital 1 to him. He was based at another hospital. He's not a practicing surgeon, he's a cardiological consultant. He arranged that I would be booked in for a different procedure. which might be more complicated and with more risks than the original catheter ablation, as they had to isolate and find where it is. So I felt like, okay, I'm not doing this solely on my own, without advice, without anyone who has my back. I now have a cardiologist. So the cardiologist sent me to hospital number 2. And the first catheter ablation that I had, they put me to sleep. It wasn't anesthesia. This is just sedation. Sedation, like you get when you get a colonoscopy, like when you go to the gastroenterologist and they put the tube down your throat. You're not unconscious, you're just asleep because it's uncomfortable. So at hospital 1, they just automatically did that. At hospital number 2, I arrived in the basement of the hospital on the hard cold metal table. And they said that they preferred that I be awake for the procedure, at least for the moment when they're stimulating the condition before performing the patch. I hated this idea. I was already really uncomfortable. I did not like seeing around the room. I did not like seeing all these doctors. I was freezing. It was a very big public theater. I think in total there were 9 people in that room. I was tense. They tried maybe for an hour or so to replicate the the situation that produced the tachycardia, and they were unable to. It's one of the most traumatic experiences of my life. Being awake, watching my heart rate, hearing people speaking back and forth in a language that's not my native tongue, not much communication with me. Then they start introducing medication into my IV to stimulate my heart, and my heart still won't rise to a danger level. And I'm awake for all of this, and I'm stressed. I can feel the catheter moving through the artery in my groin where it's entered. And I'm cold and I'm crying at some point. I'm so upset. So we go back up to my room. That's that. This is April 2025. They sent me home the next day with a rhythm card machine. And a rhythm card machine is different from a long EKG machine. A rhythm card, you're not wearing the pads. It's a device that has a metal back to it, and it's placed here over your heart. Yeah, here over your heart. And what you do is when you're having an episode, you press the button, it records the episode because of the metal detectors in the back of it, which are flush with your skin. It can give a reading of which heart chamber the arrhythmia, the tachycardia is happening in. So my roommate also came in and had the same thing of they couldn't find it in the investigation. And she was given a demonstration on how to operate the rhythm card. And then a few hours later, I was given a demonstration as I was being discharged. When the rhythm card records the data, you press a button, you hear a da-da-da-da-da, and that is sending it off to the hospital. So the rhythm card data was actually not sending. So after 6 weeks, I come back and I'm trying to return the machine, and they're like, there's nothing on there. I show one doctor how I'm using the machine, fine. Doesn't understand why it's not working. Shows another doctor, why isn't it working? Finally, a third doctor came in. The machine was facing the wrong way. I was using the machine exactly as I'd been instructed, and the machine makes the sound of transmission, but that doesn't mean it's actually transmitted. So we found the problem, human error. I go take the rhythm card with me. I go away, record a couple of episodes. I come back to the hospital. I ask them to check because this time I'm really unnerved because some of the episodes were terrible. And because I've been to hospital so many times and I've been in ambulances so many times with this condition, I'm really wary of going. I feel like it's just not going to be caught. I'm going to wind up sitting there for hours or whatever. And so I didn't always go. But the thing that kept me sane at these moments was knowing that these were being recorded and this would lead to finding a solution that helped me. So I brought the rhythm card back, and an appointment is meant to be scheduled. I have it sent. Actually, I don't want to talk about all of this. I can make another video about that. So basically, what's happening now is that with the help of a malpractice lawyer, I was able to get the records sent from Hospital 2 to Hospital 1. I had some terrible racist, discriminatory experiences at Hospital number 2, as well as them refusing my records and treating me abusively. I just never wanted to go there again. So I'm back at Hospital number 1. I went for an appointment last week with the paperwork that the lawyer had gotten for me. They immediately scheduled a procedure. The procedure is happening tomorrow. I went to my doctor today to get what paperwork was required. And I'm going to bed in the next half hour. I think I'll take a hot bath. And I will get up in the morning, no eating, no drinking, get myself to the hospital for an 8 a.m. check-in. Around noon, I will have the procedure performed. I will wake up a couple of hours later, see my family, and hopefully this is behind me. Thank you for listening and have a nice day. I'm recording videos every day. Eventually they'll be really, really good, and I appreciate it if you've even listened for 1 minute. Thank you.